Welcome to the perfect night, Minneapolis. Simple Plan is coming to Armory August 19th with special guest Bowling for Soup, 303 and Lolo. Don't miss out on a night of nostalgic early 2000s anthems. Tickets are on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Get all the details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
I'm losing my voice, Tennessee. You heard it during the last segment.
Yeah, halfway through the segment.
Yeah. You know what I think it is? I thought it was allergies because it usually happens to me in the fall, right around the state fair time. I think it's that emailer that said I don't do enough guests. The show's all about me. I think he jinxed me. Or he put a hex on me. Because he's going, why don't you have high-powered interviews? Why is it just you? And I said, because I got plenty to say. I think he said, well, you're going to have nothing to say here pretty quick. And boom, he put a curse on me. No! So what we'll do is I'll continue to soldier on, or scoldier on, as people would say. And then when Rosen gets here, you guys can do most of the talking, and I'll just have lunch and listen to what you guys have to say. Time now for 534.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. Programming predicament.
Yes, the Minnesota Wild are in Utah tonight. That's an 8 o'clock start. You can watch it on FanDuel Sports Network. You can listen to it right here on the Fan. By the way, extended Wild Weekly, KFAN Wild Weekly with myself and Kevin Fallness, 7 to 7:45 tonight. And the Timberwolves are in L.A. tonight to take on the Lakers. Opening tap there. It's a late one, 9:30 p.m. You can watch it on FanDuel Sports Network. Plus, or you can listen to it on the Wolves channel on the iHeartRadio app. You should just have the Wolves channel as one of your presets, by the way, on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
Correct.
Common, what are you going to do about tonight's
Programming predicament?
Just sit right back and you hear a tale of a fateful trip that started on this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour.
Here's my favorite part right here.
The weather started.
So, and I do have a number of Gilligan's Islands DVR that I could watch. You know, if I were to choose one of those, I got $4 on tonight's game. I got a lot riding.
Sure.
So I think I'd like to see how my money's doing. So I would probably watch.
It's later at night, though.
Yeah.
Are you going to be a little sleepy?
Yeah, probably. Haven't I told you what generally happens to me is I sleep from 9:30, 10 o'clock till midnight on the couch, and then I get up and I spend like an hour and a half reading news, and then I go back to bed. It's a weird system. That's not what I prefer, but it's what I do. Because I feel like I've wasted all that time sleeping. I should have been doing something with that time. I got into another wildlife show last night. I'm into that now. I'm really showing my age. I'm watching wildlife. It's a series from BBC America about Asian wildlife. And this one was where I was learning so much. Like, did you know that 2/3 of the largest cities in the world are now in Asia? You know, like Taipei.
Doesn't surprise me.
And anyway, it's talking about how, like, even, for instance, like Borneo, like 50% of their jungles and just, it's now turned into city. There's more and more people there, right? And so these animals now are finding that where they can live and find their food and breed and live is shrinking, right? They showed one, and I don't remember which Asian country it is in. Elephants will come out into the road and stop traffic, and basically they're like highwaymen. They demand food or they won't let you go through. Yeah. How are they that smart? And so the buses...
It's like a tax.
And the buses, it's like a tariff. And what these buses do is the bus driver takes out a bunch of bananas and hands it to them, and the elephant then starts eating and lets them go by. Cars are swerving out of the way of the elephants.
What if you don't have any food on you that day?
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
And here's what was crazy, and you're going to like this. The elephant peeled the bananas from the bottom up. It's crazy. So I'm really into the wildlife shows now. I got to admit,
I might have to watch that.
It's fascinating when you see. Well, the other one was there's a certain kind of monkey The only way this monkey could get to its food is this group of monkeys. Is it a herd of monkeys? I don't know what they call a batch of monkeys. Maybe it's a batch. This batch of monkeys. The only way across was on a bridge, a footbridge. But there's dogs on the footbridge waiting for them. So they have to find another way to get around. So they start hopping across the rapids. Baby's got to hang on for dear life. They're jumping from rock to rock. The dogs are trying to chase them. They can't jump as far, so they're getting down into the water and getting swept downstream.
A troop of monkeys.
A troop of monkeys?
Yeah.
They're getting swept downstream. Well, then a couple of dogs they finally get to the trees where they want to eat food. Now the dogs are just waiting for them down below. So what do? A couple of the older monkeys jumped out on the ground. The dogs start chasing them, and then the rest take off and go the other direction. How do they know how to do this?
They're smart.
I guess it's the mystery of being an animal. So anyway, that's what I
expect Asian wildlife to become the answer to your programming predicament.
It's called the BBC America. It's fascinating.
Question number 2.
They're no longer one of us, but they're looking fabulous. Now that they're away from us, excelling in their new home.
I know you are very familiar with Trey Holloman. He plays basketball for Michigan State, but he's from here. He played high school at Cretin-Derham Hall.
I saw it.
Game was tied 55-55 last night. He did this.
Gillespie for 3. Oh, no. Holloman looks the clock. Half court for the win. Oh, my goodness. Holloman from half court to win it on the road. We'll see the replay right here. Clearly out of his hand. Trey Holloman, tough first half. Big time here in the second to rebound, make some plays, and then what a shot here on the road.
Yeah, Trey Holloman, half-court heave at the buzzer. Michigan State beats Maryland 58-55. Common, your thoughts?
It was even a couple of steps behind.
Other side of the half-court, yeah.
Half-court. Well, what was cool is I was alerted to it by, of all people, Deuce. Deuce saw it. He goes, did you see Jiggy Traw's...
Jiggy Traw?
Yeah, that's his nickname in high school. Jiggy Traw.
It's a great nickname.
All the kids that he hung out with, you were Jiggy this or Jiggy that. And he was Jiggy Traw. I tell you that story So I go to a Cretin game because Pete played against Jiggy Traw, right? And Pete told me that was his nickname. So I'm at a Cretin game. It's pregame, and I'm going to go. I told Pete, I'm going to go say hi to Jiggy Traw, and I'm going to say, hey, Jiggy Traw, what's up? So I go down. I see the kid down there, and I go, hey, Jiggy Traw, what's going on? And he kind of just looked at me like weird, like pulled his head and goes, not much, and kept walking away. Pete tells me later, that wasn't Jiggy Traw.
I always love that one.
I said it to the wrong kid. But,
what's up, Jiggy Traw?
Yeah, but Deuce says, did you see what happened? And I didn't, so I looked at the highlight right away. You find it right away online. I texted Pete. Pete called me this morning. He goes, you're not going to believe this. He goes, I was just walking into the dorm, and my buddy Shriek, who was his roommate, just happened to have the game on. Pete saw it happen, and Pete played against him. And here was the best part. Pete told me in the pregame, and the postgame, they asked him, have you ever had a game-winning buzzer beater before? And he said, yeah, in my senior year in high school to go to state. And that was the game I was at and watched him do it. No! He beat Eastridge to go to state. 15 seconds to go in the game. We inbound the ball poorly. They get the ball. And Holloman gets it. And at the buzzer, he lets go a 15-footer and nothing but net. And that was the game. And I think I told you this story. It looked like Eastridge was going to win. All the freshmen are sitting in the first row of the stands behind the varsity bench, right? And they're getting ready to go back to action, and Holloman, Jiggy Traw's got his hands on his knees, getting ready to go in. And the freshman kids start taunting him, right? And Pete says, so he had his back to him. And Pete says Jiggy just turned around and looked at him like this and just stared at him and looked back, and then he hit the game winner. And Pete said the guys, him and the varsity guys on the bench were going, Don't do that to him. Why are you doing that to him? Because he probably would have
Wake the sleeping
made the
giant.
shot. Yeah, he may have made the shot anyways, but you knew.
A little extra focus.
That was a little extra focus. So basically, the freshman class cost us a trip to state. No! But yeah, so it was a great shot. And he's really playing well for that club. Now, he didn't have a very good game last night. He was like 2 for 7. And I think I read he turned the ball over late through a bad pass, and that allowed Maryland to tie the game. But he's a really good defensive player. Izzo loves him, and he starts now. So they're like 5th in the country. So, yeah, I watched him play. That was when Pete told me I was a casual. Because we were driving back from, this was Pete's sophomore year, would have been Holloman's junior year. And I said to Pete, I know he scored 25 points, but I just think he's a little overrated. And that's when Pete said, you're a casual. I go, what do you mean? He goes, a casual is somebody who doesn't really know the NBA but thinks he does. I go, well, what are you saying? He goes, we plan our entire game plan is on Trey Holloman.
Yeah.
We don't run our offense anywhere near Holloman. We keep it on the other side of the floor. We do this and do that. He goes, everything is dictated by Trey Holloman, and he still scored 25 and still played great defense. He's not overrated. You're just a casual. And I said, okay, I get it. And now he's playing in the Big Ten and 5th-ranked team, and they're going to the NCAA tournament. So good for Trey. He's a good player.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 questions.
Real.
It's defensive.
Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
But he wanted to play hoops. That's a little 5-3-4 for you. We'll take a break. Don't forget PST coming up bottom of the hour. Triple V, double I, results and pairings. More Branch on Brian KFAN text line messages to get to. There are several people rallying to the common man's defense. We'll look at those. Got a couple of other controversial Vikings items I want to get to as well. Here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Country sensation Hardy is bringing the Jim Bob World Tour to Somerset Amphitheater. Catch him when he takes the stage August 16th with special guests Co Wetzel, Stephen Wilson Jr., and Sycarus. Enter for your shot to win a pair of tickets on our contest page. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter.
My voice is rebounded a little bit. It's because I'm drinking a cup of coffee. That warm liquid, loosens up the vocal cords a little bit, I think. The only problem is the only thing bigger than my ego is my prostate. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom like in the middle of the segment now. Every single segment, I'm going to be doing the potty dance. No! You ever see kids do the potty dance?
Oh, sure.
They just like this. Watch me, Tim. No, you'd rather not. So, yeah, I might be doing the potty dance over here. A couple of emails came in. It was controversial. I was just kind of minding my own business, just doing my thing. And somebody attacked me viciously on the Brad John Brian KFAN text line. Said, why don't you get the accolades the other shows do? Which, well, we do. I've also won more City Pages awards than any other show. As a matter of fact, I've won more than all the other shows combined, each individual, add them all together. And, take it for what it's worth, but I'm saying those are still accolades. And we don't do high-powered guests. We do the occasional guests because we want to be a little different. You get that everywhere else. So we don't want to do it. But anyway, so he said the show is just hideous. And I've had a number of people rally to my defense, and I do appreciate that. This one says, Common, been a long-time listener, and it always makes me laugh out loud like all those comedy shows. When non-Commonwealth listeners try and criticize the Grump, look, unlike the power trip that uses 8th grade humor in a cast of thousands, PA who gets carried on the back of Nordo.
Wow.
Or Big Ticket that brings in a revolving door of guests, the Grump is you, and just you. No prep, no guess, just Common. I think that's the problem one text messenger had, the one listener had. I dare anyone to fill 3 hours of sports talk like you do. No way anyone can compare to the Common Man. The haters are just jelly. I like that. And I tend to agree with it. Though I get a lot of help from Tennessee. It's not just me for 3 hours. And Rosen comes in 3 days a week for 2 hours. And there's a little B. So it's not just me. But it is difficult to fill. Yeah, but we just decided a long time ago. I explained the story back when we were doing the moniker thing, when it was just a call. We used to do nothing but calls. for 3 hours a night, 6 to 9. That's all I did was calls. And the day I decided not to do, guess I had them all lined up. Fall of 94. Beat writer for every NFC Central team. That's how long ago it was, Tampa Bay even.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the first segment, 6 to 6:15. I had callers lined up, took a few calls, and I said, so now when we come back, we're going to talk to, Carl Gerberschmidt from the Green Bay Gazette to talk Green Bay Packer football. We'll do that next. All the callers dropped off because they knew they weren't getting on the air. And I thought, I'd really rather talk to Steelers guy, Bill Bates guy,
Vomit
guy, fishing. I'd rather talk to them than the Green Bay Packer guy, right?
Yeah.
And then so we should, from that moment on, we never did guests anymore. It's just like every show is a little different. And this one,
But now we don't get the calls.
And now we don't get the calls either.
Except for Warren.
And Warren is more than a call. He's actually he's a national treasure is what he is. There's this one that says, Common, don't listen to the haters. I've been listening to KFAN for 13, 14 years, and if I'm being honest, in the beginning, I didn't get that into the grum. But over the years, you become my second favorite show. And that's only because I have the sense of humor of a middle schooler, so I enjoy fart jokes, yoga pants, and breasts more, meaning the power trip.
Yeah.
But being second out of 4 shows does make you the best of the lousiest and lousiest the best of my eyes. Keep up the good. Keep up the work, me boy. And being second fiddle to the power show is nothing. I'm not ashamed of that. Well, sort of, but that's a legendary show. I mean, that's as successful a morning radio show as there is in the country. And that's just the truth, too. That's not just me trying to be sarcastic. And they're very successful. It's astonishing. The podcast numbers they get are as good as, I think they're like in all of iHeartRadio, their podcast numbers are like second or third of every single radio show in the country in iHeart. You know how many shows that is?
It's a lot of shows.
Podcasts those are. The people love the Power Trip Morning Show, and I do too.
Oh.
Especially Meat Sauce. And if you love Meat Sauce, you can see him in person tomorrow night, along with the Common Man, at Forgotten Star. One show only, 7 o'clock doors, show at 8. Tickets available now at ForgottenStarBrewing.com. Your ticket gets you your first free beer. We'll give away tickets to the show a little bit later before the show is over. Also to Lakefront Music Fest for Rock Night. We're going to give away tickets for that.
You said the emailer said that you were his second favorite show, Power Trip number 1, because he has the sense of humor of an 8th grader.
Correct.
I have a temporary idea. You ready for this? To get him to have us match him?
How's that?
Breasts, yoga pants.
Yoga pants, breasts. Here's one. Stafford had the full support of the Rams to find a trade partner, so him meeting with Brady, planned or not, is a total nothing burger. Totally legal. Is it totally legal? Can you at this time?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe you can.
Without permission, you aren't allowed to.
Yeah. Well, he got
because
permission.
He's still under contract. Well,
yeah.
I don't know what that permission consists of.
That's true, too.
There might be a difference between like a formal discussion meeting of some sort or vacationing with them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, then that's the thing. That's beside the point of, was it planned or was it not? Hey, you're Tom Brady. You're Matt Stafford. Imagine meeting you here. Hey, you want to go up in the ski lift with me and talk about playing for my team? Sure, I'd love to do that. So, yeah, I it could have happened that way, I guess, but I don't.
Or like the permission to talk to him might be his agent has permission to talk to other teams, not necessarily Stafford himself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it is.
That's why I'm sitting in this chair.
Well, maybe tell me, maybe this one says, the way I understand it, the Yellowstone Club is a membership-only situation, so Stafford doesn't have a membership. Oh.
Oh my gosh. Above average at that.
Somebody else said, they don't think you understand the Yellowstone Club, billionaires and celebrities. I don't. just don't understand that.
We definitely don't.
No, I definitely don't. Well, I didn't realize it was at the Yellowstone. Maybe I should do more research. I just heard two guys got in a brouhaha. One says they planned to meet. The other said they didn't. I think they planned to meet, regardless if it's legal or not. That would be my guess, but it could very well have been coincidental. And here's what I'll tell you. If either one of them was on the Bunny Hill, then it wasn't. They were meeting up. They don't really ski. If they're skiing down the Bunny Hill, they're doing it just because I can't ski, but it looks good if we're... that's what somebody else just said.
Yellowstone Club looks nice. They got a golf course there during the summer.
Yeah.
With Tom Weiskopf.
Apparently one of the very best out west golf courses is... it's a Palmer-designed one in Jackson Hole. Look that one up. I mean, I think
this place looks amazing, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. What do you remember?
What am I looking up?
Jackson Hole, Wyoming Golf. And there's a golf course there. It's a Palmer course.
Is it called Jackson Hole Golf and Tennis Club?
I think that might be it. And I thought I heard like the memberships there are like, like any of these, like to belong to, these are the numbers I've heard. Like if you're going to join Winged Foot in New York, now they have two courses, but they have the one that they play, they have East and West. I can't remember which one the U.S. Open's on, but just the initiation fee to belong to Winged Foot is like $750,000. And I think that Jackson Hole Golf and Tennis Club is in that same kind of neighborhood, that kind of money. I mean, it's like, we don't want the riffraff here. We don't want the meat sauces and the commons and the Tennessees coming up with, hey, what do you mean, $4,000 downstroke and I'm in? No. This is, you have to have real money to get into those places. I love this song for a couple of reasons. It means I can finish my lunch and also means it's time for Wild Today with Tenna B.
Yeah, it was Wild Today brought to you by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. The Wild begin a 2-game road trip as they face the Utah Hockey Club tonight at Delta Center. This is the fourth and final meeting between these two teams this season. Utah has won both games in St. Paul, including a 4-0 win on January 23rd. The Wild did make a minor trade yesterday. They acquired forward Tyler Madden from the Los Angeles Kings in exchange for defenseman Joseph Kokani. The Edmonton Oilers, by the way, claimed defenseman Travis Dermott off waivers yesterday from the Wild. And then the Wild also recalled forward Brendan Gaunsey today to be their extra forward on this trip. Marc-Andre Fleury will get the start in net tonight as the Wild are in Utah. First puck drops at 8 p.m. You can hear that game right here on the Fan. By the way, extended Wild pregame, KFAN Wild Weekly, 7 to 7:45 tonight before the game. That was Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, a crowd pleaser since 1795. Get ready for the ultimate day of heavy metal. Summer of Loud 2025 is set to hit the Somerset Amphitheater on Friday, July 11th, with performances from Parkway Drive, I Prevail, Beartooth, and more. Don't miss out. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. Get all the details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Tend to be PST, Triple V, Double I, pairings, results and pairings. When we're done today, we will be where?
We'll be down to 8 after these results here. So, as of tomorrow, we'll be down to our foolish 4.
Yeah.
Voting on the IALTO 8 today.
IALTO 8. Here we go. Let's get her done.
All right, let's take a look at our results from the
East Region.
The number 1 seed is Draymond Green. This is what he said about the NBA's fines.
The fines, to me, don't make sense. When you talk about as hard as we work to accumulate wealth, coming from situations that most people never make it out, and then you get fined the way we get fined, it's actually not set up for us to be wealthy after we're done playing.
Draymond went up against the number 5 seed Paul Pierce, who thinks he's responsible for LeBron taking it to the next level.
I truly feel responsible for taking LeBron to that, taking him to that next level, because when he went to Miami, Game 5, Game 6 in Boston, where we had him on the ropes to go back to the finals,
Yeah.
I think that was the game that took LeBron to the next level.
You had declared that you think Draymond Green
Oh, yeah, he's going to win the whole thing.
is going to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, You might be right. He just won 84 to 16%.
Wow.
He just destroyed
I thought you were
Paul Pierce.
I thought you were going to tell me he was donezo.
No, just not even close.
Wow.
He's doing what champions do and just routs the opponent.
Well, and you know what? Here's why I wouldn't mind seeing him win. He's going to be dead ass broke when he retires.
Yes.
So.
You might be able to
sell
make some money off of this somehow.
Yeah, well, sell that. We'll give him a PST trophy if he wins it.
East Region.
The number 3 seed, Tom Fornelli, posted a poll on Twitter that asked, as a college basketball fan, what would you prefer your favorite team to do? A, win the conference, or B, win the NCAA tournament? Tom went up against the number 2 seed, Gilbert Arenas, who called out Rudy Gobert for missing a playoff game for the birth of his child.
Right. I would imagine Minnesota guy. I don't know for sure. I'm not in that man's business like that.
I mean, missing this game for that baby. I see you.
It's the baby, bro. It's going to be there when you get back. We hope.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I just know. I'm just saying. The baby going to be
okay, but unnecessary.
The baby going to, it don't know. Whatever you about to think you about to do with the baby, he going to be asleep.
Need that skin-to-skin contact.
Okay, yeah, skin-to-skin. You want to be with your wife and smile and stuff, and your good NBA healthcare insurance.
Right.
It's because of you playing.
Right. Trust me, they got everything.
Not sure if Gilbert Arenas if he has a significant other and whether they're pregnant or not, but if they are, he'll be back in time for the baby because he's out.
Oh, no.
Tom Fornelli has advanced 59 to 41%.
Baby will be there.
Baby will be there.
I love that. Baby will be there. I do like the way he said it. It's humorous, but that's just a guy that, I'm a faith, family, fairways, frequency guy. Apparently he's not.
He likes free throws.
Free throws. He's a free throw
fouls.
guy. Yeah.
South Region.
The number 9 seed, Kadarius Toney, said he is a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. Quote, if I get the ball. He went up against the number 12 seed, Alyssa Milano, who posted a GoFundMe to her followers to raise $10,000 for her son's baseball team to go to Cooperstown, even though she's worth $10 million. The Cinderella story continues for Alyssa Milano. The 12 seed is in the Ialto 8. Alyssa Milano wins 63 to 37%.
That's one of those, it's almost like the nerve of her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The nerve of her to ask for a GoFundMe page for $10,000 when she's worth $10 million.
When you should easily have that in the couch cushions.
Well, and again, it's her son, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure she lives in Los Angeles. My guess is there's other well-to-do families that have kids on that team, right? That would be my guess, right? You know, they kind of run in the same circles a little bit. I'm not saying they're all Hollywood kids, but my guess is with her $10 million and the net worth of all the other kids on the team, it's got to be enough where it's like you pool all your money together and you've got, how many kids are on a Little League team? 15, let's say?
Probably like 12, yeah.
Yeah, well, so it's like, it's $1,000 a piece. Because was that what she wanted, $10,000?
She wanted $10,000, yeah.
That's like $1,000 a piece. That's walking around money. It's just so good.
South Region.
The number 6 seed, Jay Williams, after Caitlin Clark broke the women's college scoring record, he said, quote, I am unwilling to say that she is great yet. Jay went up against the number 7 seed, Mike Tannenbaum, who said this.
Outside of Patrick Mahomes, if we, the 4 of us, were running an NFL team today, there is nobody on the planet I'd rather have than Jordan Love, period, end of sentence. 25 years old, can make all the throws, 6'4", high character, high processor, to make people miss. The sky is the limit. If he was an IPO, it'd be like buying NVIDIA 3 years ago.
Okay.
He is by far to me a player that has the most sustained upside. Do I love Josh Allen? Of course I love Josh Allen. Josh Allen takes a lot of big hits. C.J. Stroud, love C.J. Stroud. Jordan Love's been in the league a little bit longer than C.J. Stroud. There are some other people in that conversation, but when you talk about sustained excellence, to me, it's Jordan Love and then everybody else.
What is a Vidiot?
I have no idea.
That's why you and I are both broke. Yes. Apparently we should have bought IPO a Vidiot when it was first. That's like the initial stock offer kind of thing, right? When it first goes on the Dow Jones Industrial, whatever it is, the stock market, they do a stock exchange when you can actually buy stock. That's initial. It stands for initial Or is that a beer? Like when you go to one of those breweries, you get an IPO? I think that's what that is. I think that's what it is.
I think you and I should start a GoFundMe page
to
help out with some of our costs since we are broke.
Give us an eye. Here's what they can do. GoFundMe page, the money we take, we'll invest it in an IPO.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
I like it. 66 to 34%. 2/3 of the vote goes to Mike Tannenbaum. He advances. So you know where we're at now.
Yep.
We are at the IALTO 8. All of these can be voted on shortly at KFAN 1003 on Twitter or X. We'll be down to 4 24 hours from now. Here are your final 8 statements.
North Region, presented by Arthur's Jewelers.
The number 1 seed, Anthony Rendon, on playing in the major leagues, said, quote, "I do not wish this life upon anybody." Rendon will go up against the number 2 seed, Myles Garrett, who defended Deshaun Watson and criticized those who booed him after he was injured, saying this.
The man does pretty much everything right. He's been a model citizen through college and most of the pros.
So there, I thought I heard also again, even though I think whatever word you're thinking it is what you think you hear.
I think
you know what I'm saying?
I think he says
most of the pros.
Its initial public offering is what IPO stands for. I want to thank Jay at Boats and Beyond, listening up in Brainerd, for texting that. We text and talk more than most people know. Initial public offering is what an IPO is. Go ahead, Dennis.
So that was IALTO 8 matchup number 1. Here's number 2 from the
West Region.
The number 4 seed, Paul Charchian, said this about Saquon Barkley on Fantasy Football Weekly.
You are wrong about the talent. You don't think he has talent. Saquon Barkley is cooked.
Okay.
Let's put some numbers against it. I would much rather have the recently re-upped Ramondre Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have Jonathan Brooks. I'd rather have Zamir White. You know where those guys are going?
Like RB 15 to 20?
Pick 90.
Yeah.
I am so far off Saquon Barkley. To me, we have to get to round 8.
Wow.
He has an ADP of the middle of round 2. I would take Saquon Barkley in round 8.
There's a little KFAN on KFAN action to go to the Foolish 4, by the way, because Charge is going up against the number 14 seed, Mark Rosen, on going to the Guthrie Orpheum courtside seats at Target Center and Williams Arena on 4 consecutive nights. He said, quote, "It's available to everybody."
Absolutely. I don't even know why that's preposterous. We could all do that.
Apparently it's not available to Alyssa Milano, but everybody else it's available to.
Sweet.
East Region.
The number 1 seed, Draymond Green.
The fines, to me, don't make sense. When you talk about as hard as we work to accumulate wealth, coming from situations that most people never make it out, and then you get fined the way we get fined, it's actually not set up for us to be wealthy after we're done playing.
Draymond's going to go up against the number 3 seed, Tom Fornelli, who posted a poll on Twitter that asked, as a college basketball fan, what would you prefer your favorite team to do? A, win your conference, or B, win the NCAA tournament? I think that one might be a little lopsided, too.
Yeah, I think it might be, too.
South Region.
And our final IALTO 8 matchup, we've got a 12 versus 7 seed matchup. The 12 seed, Alyssa Milano. She posted a GoFundMe to her followers to raise $10,000 for her son's baseball team to go to Cooperstown, even though her net worth is $10 million. She'll go up against the number 7 seed, Mike Tannenbaum, who said, outside of Patrick Mahomes, if we were running an NFL team today, there is nobody on the planet I'd rather have than Jordan Love.
There you go. You can vote early, vote often. Tomorrow we'll unveil the Foolish 4. Then we'll have the results on Monday, right? And then we take 2 days to vote.
And then, we'll have 2 days to vote until the championship will be announced on Wednesday.
So we'll be looking forward to that. Thank you very much for participating. It's all about you, the listeners. You're the ones that literally 95% of the Preposterous Statement Tournament submissions come from you. You've got your ear to the your ear to the groin. No, your ear to the ground, your eye to the sky, and it's Lean In Radio, and you're listening for us, and we do appreciate that for submitting all of those. You can vote early and often, as Teneby just said, they'll be available to vote on very shortly. I just saw ESPN is on the 55-inch Toshiba Regza here, right? And it says This just in, Travis Kelce coming back for a 13th year. Did anybody really? I didn't understand all this. Is he going to? Nobody believed he was going to retire, did they?
I mean, he's getting up there in age.
Right.
And his play is slipping. So, yeah, I guess
I never believed it.
If he wants to spend more time with Tay or something, I don't know. But
I never believed it for a second. Here's
he's got a popular podcast that's making him a lot of money.
I thought that was his brother.
They're together.
Oh, they're together?
Yeah,
I thought
they're both together.
Oh. Well, what's the one's wife doing? I thought she's got the most popular podcast in the world. I thought she was with her husband on the podcast. Doesn't not Tay, but the married Kelce, the one that played for the Eagles, doesn't his wife have
Jason's wife? I forget her name.
Doesn't she have the most popular?
Kylie?
Does she have the most popular podcast in the country? That's what I thought.
I didn't know she had a podcast.
Oh, that's what maybe I'm all mixed up. Maybe I really am. Well, I'm not losing it. I've already lost it. I thought I read that she's got the most. I thought it was her and her hubby were doing the podcast.
No, I think she's appeared on it at times. But it's the two Kelce brothers together. The reason it's as popular as it is because the Swifties wanted to hear all the Tay.
Oh.
They wanted to hear Travis talk about her and mention her. So that's how. So it turned into, guys that love football listen to it because they like to hear their football stuff.
Sure.
But then you get Swifties going, I got to hear about the relationship between Travis and
Will you
Tay.
Google his wife and see if she does a podcast? And again, the reason I don't know for positive because that's not a story I would read.
They have a podcast called Not Gonna Lie.
Yeah, because that's not a story I'm going to read. I'm not going. I want to see what's the other Kelce's name? What's his first name?
Jason.
I don't care what Jason Kelce's wife's. I just have no interest in this. Why would I read the story? But it's been getting headlines that it's like one of the most popular podcasts in the country. That's why I got confused. But anyway, but I'll still tell you why. I think for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think the idea that he might retire, they just like controlling the media narrative. There are certain people in this country that anything they do or say, they can change headlines across the country. I mean, obviously, like Elon Musk, no matter what he does, he can get anybody talking immediately about him or what he wants to do, even before he started working for Doge or whatever it is.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, same thing. I've done that.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, I've done that bit before where I told you where you could have Aaron Rodgers sitting around watching TV, and he's watching ESPN. He looks at his buddy sitting on the couch and goes, watch me change the headline on ESPN. And then Rodgers tweets something out, right? And then your Adam Schefter's of the world see it and all of a sudden go, whoa, Rodgers just said he's thinking about retiring. Well, that becomes the front page story, and he might not have had any reason. My guess is he just did it to attract attention to himself. Watch this. I'm gonna let's just see how many let's see if I can be the number one headline, and then how many clicks the story gets, and this, that, and the other thing. Also, and probably the main thing is, like when most people retire, most people, just, everyday people, not your athletes and your movie stars or your musicians, and even they don't retire very early, but most people that work your 9-to-5 kind of jobs, they eventually want to retire, right? They're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and most people generally, unless they strike it rich, they retire at an older age, 65 or more, right? Or maybe a little earlier. When you retire from football, you're still generally in your 30s. You got your whole life ahead, and you can't go back. It's not like somebody could retire as a refrigerator repairman. And 5 years later, they could go, I'm going to be a refrigerator repairman, and come out of retirement. Once you retired from football as a tight end at 37 years old, you're not coming back in a couple of years. It's just not going to happen. So it's like, well, realistically, I can only play 1 or 2 more years. I do love it. I want to win another ring. This is fun, so I'm going to stick around and I'm going to milk it. Even if they had an off year, I still never believed he was going to retire. I just never believed it to me. So to me, it was almost a non-headline. Nivedita Teneby is a chip maker. in our preposterous statement.
Like Doritos?
Yeah. That was pretty good. Call that a second. They're a chip maker. Yeah, Nibidia, and they come in different flavors. My favorite is the sour cream and onion. Who's the guy that says it's Jordan Love? Because he's the one that said
Tannenbaum.
Yeah, wasn't he the one that brought up Nibidia? I think he was the one that brought up. Get in on it. Like we all should have got in on Nibidia at the IPO initial public offering. Here's the latest from Market Watch. It's another one of those websites that I can't get enough of. This is about an hour and a half ago. Nibidia earnings aren't helping its stock. Here's what Wall Street thinks. Nibidia reported its fourth quarter results after Wednesday's closing bell. Investors and analysts have focused on early sales of the company's new Blackwell line. As Nibidia stock has gone nowhere, valuations have dropped to attractive levels. So there we go. So maybe Nibidia, the original IPO, buy low, sell high. Maybe you should have done it, but it doesn't sound like it's doing so great anymore now. So there you go. You dabble in stocks, tend to be stocks, bonds.
A few, but I'm not going to act like I'm very knowledgeable about it.
I mean, do you and your wife do it on your own, or do you have somebody that you go here?
Well, we have a financial advisor that does
right.
401ks and Roth IRAs and all that stuff. I did dabble a little bit on my own just to test it out.
Yeah.
Like read a book about it. I read a book from
really.
Yeah. Basically, like the best advice I got out of the book was just see what Warren Buffett's doing. there are websites that tracks what he's putting his money into, and just copy him.
Just copy him. And
I'm not going to be smart enough to do it on my own.
So after reading and studying, you decided maybe that's not for me, and then you're letting somebody else do it. And I think that's where I think that I don't know enough about it. I didn't even know what an IPO. I mean, I knew IPO was initial something or other. I don't know enough about it. I just know you need to go that way. You've got money in those 529s, right, for education. Is that what it is? A 529?
Yes.
Those are the greatest things ever, man. Without those, I don't know how we get BBP induced through school. I don't know how we do it. I mean, they'd have to take out some massive loans and such like that, but that's the greatest. And then what's even nice is whatever money's left over on one, if you haven't, like when Deuce graduates, we can just move that money over to baby brother Peter. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to talk to Rosen about this a little bit too when he joins us here in a little bit. It'd be interesting to see what happens tonight with the Wolves versus the Lakers. They have a day off. The Wolves coming off is one of the monumental. I think I read like in the last 552 games, no one had ever come back from 24 points down that late in the game. And then I saw another on yesterday when they were raving about the game again. Maybe it was the day before when it first happened. They did that on the crawl. They were talking about how it might be. It was like the fourth greatest comeback of all time in the second half, or something like that. It was historic, right? And it immediately got a lot of people hyped up on the Wolves again. If you follow public opinion on the local sports teams, and I mentioned that I do that. I mentioned earlier in the show. You take a look at, and again, it's an inexact science. It's not everybody, but you have the KFAN text line. You have people that email me personally at comment@kfan.com. You have your message boards with your Fish Wrap Factory East and West and Athletic and Eastman. You can comment on stories, and especially the local ones. You get a real feel for what people feel locally. And what I find on the message boards is it's really no different than Hatfield's and McCoy's. It's like you have two sides. What camp are you in? Do you like what the Wolves are doing and you're very positive about anything that happens? You ducky and bunny it. There are the others that are like, well, that's great, but show me something more. And I guess I kind of lean toward that glass half empty kind of a guy, because I think one game against the Oklahoma City Thunder is a pretty small sample size, and people were really excited. People went from thinking, boy, I just hope we'd be nice to make a 6 seed, and even if we get a 6 seed, I just don't know if we can go very deep with what's happening right now. This team hasn't gelled yet. We're missing Bodega Cat. The young guys aren't really contributing yet to any real degree of consistency. It's not like every night these new guys are coming in playing. Then all of a sudden, we had the greatest comeback in the history against Oklahoma City Thunder, the second best record, I think, in the league. And now we don't need to be afraid of everybody. We can beat anybody. And it's amazing how one game
changes quickly.
It can change real quickly. And I think tonight will be another nice barometer because we have another team that's very excited about what they're doing, Tennessee, as you know. Ever since the Doncic trade, the Lakers have been playing as good as anybody in the league. And LeBron seems to be rejuvenated. And there's another team in the West that made a blockbuster trade as well, and that would be the Golden State Warriors, and they're feeling pretty good about themselves. So the West is very competitive. It seems to be wide open. Rosie loves this Wolves club. He thinks they can get to the Western Conference Finals. We have a bet on tonight's game. We'll talk about that and other topics when we return to the Common Man program here on The Fan. Hey, let's do one of those giveaways, Tennessee. Go ahead. Can you read the Lakefront Music Fest so we can do that?
Hold on, I got to get to it.
This is my new favorite bit.
Lakefront Music Fest is back and bigger than ever. Don't miss out on Rock Night on Friday, July 11th. Headlined by Foreigner.
Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive.
With support from 38 Special.
Sugar, dun, 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 dun. Oh, honey, honey, did it, did it, did it.
And Loverboy.
What would be a good Loverboy song? Take me home, country roads, to the place.
Tickets are on sale now and are going fast, but we got your tickets right here. Just be caller 11 to win a pair of tickets for Rock Night.
Rock Night.
Call now.